Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, I should have sacrificed myself for her. SIL wants to be included at every event/everywhere with us. The light from your phone in a dark theater is distracting. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I should have sacrificed myself for her. So, I'm not entirely sure if this qualifies as an entitled parent or just someone who's mentally insane, but this just happened a few hours ago, so here goes. I, 29 work for a small hardware store in my city. I'm about 6 feet 2 inches, chubby, but still muscular from all the heavy lifting I do for work. Early this morning, me and, we will call her, Nancy, 49F, were at the store before opening to do inventory. It was about an hour before opening and Nancy went outside to grab something from her car. She came back in a few minutes later, at gunpoint, with someone walking behind her. I've never been involved in any kind of robbery before, aside from minor shoplifting attempts, so I froze in place. The gunman pointed it at me, telling me to keep my hands visible and to follow them. Nancy was technically the opening manager, and therefore had keys to the store and vault in the back office, so he held me up while she emptied it. He was gone in about 10 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. Our store doesn't have any kind of silent alarm, so once we were sure he was gone, I went and called 911. After I get off the phone, Nancy comes up to me and asks, word for word, "What the F*** is wrong with you?" I stare at her completely caught off guard and asked her what she was talking about. She proceeds to rant at me up until the police arrive. To sum up her rant, she basically said I was a pathetic excuse of a man for not protecting a single mother when she was in danger. I asked her what she expected me to do in that situation. She expected me to try and get the gun away from him so he couldn't hurt her. It was around that point that the police arrived to take our statements and ensure we were okay. My actual boss is on vacation this week but has given me the next 2 days off, paid, I love this guy, to recover from the shock of the situation and to call him if I need anything. I haven't told him about Nancy's rant yet, I'm still trying to process everything she said to me. Edit. Sorry, still new to posting, wasn't sure if this info is relevant or not. Nancy is divorced and her son is a 19-year-old college student who doesn't live with her. During her rant, she kept going on about who would watch my baby if I died, stuff like that. I'm hoping it was just adrenaline from the robbery, but if the next time I see her, she's still acting that way, I'll report her. Edit 2. I greatly appreciate the comments people have sent. I didn't think I'd get that many replies. There have been some comments claiming Nancy was in on it. She seemed genuinely terrified, so I doubt she was, but now I can't get that thought out of my head. Hopefully Nancy was just freaking out because of the incident. When she has time to process, she'll see what a ridiculous request that was. If not, she has to quit watching superhero movies. There's always women who think men are some kind of muscular one-hit wonder. Had a friend ask me to help her move. Sure, I'll help. We get to the new place, unload boxes, and in the hallway is a washing machine. I didn't want to pay the delivery for bringing it to the attic, since I figured you could just carry it up. Now, I'm not exactly fat or anything. But I wouldn't call myself fit either. And certainly not strong enough to lift a full-size washer, let alone carry it up 2 flights of chairs. Still not sure what she was smoking. Do you know what the definition of a hero is? Someone who gets other people killed. What? No. Pretty much anything you could have done would likely have resulted in a much worse outcome than missing money. You protected her by not doing something rash and stupid. He also probably would have gotten fired if complying with the robber is what the company expects employees to do, and it usually is. My old job had training on that very thing. Definitely, you trying to get the gun off of him could have ended up with both of you getting shot. The safest thing to do is go along with what they say. If she says anything against A, You would have liked me to try to get the gun so we both could have been shot? I guess I was smart enough to know both of our lives are worth more than the amount of money in the store. And your baby isn't that much younger than me. If he were in this situation, would you like him to have tried getting the gun away, or would you have said, give the thief the money? You did exactly what security professionals advise. Hand the money over. Money is not worth losing your life over. Hopefully when she calms down, Nancy apologizes to you for being such an and calling you a pathetic excuse for a man. If she doesn't, she's an idiot, and I'd let your boss know ASAP what happened in case she tries to spin it some way. I have had jobs where the robbery response training was give it to them. Stuff is stuff. No stuff is worth your life. You did exactly right. You did not escalate the situation. You did not startle the robber, which might have made him injure someone in response. You stayed calm. Well done, you. Obviously, Nancy was in shock, and her go-to coping mechanism is to project blame. You were both in danger. Why didn't she defend herself and protect the 29-year-old employee who has their life ahead of them? I am so sorry this happened to you. All of it. None of it should have happened. Hopefully, Nancy will apologize for lashing out when the adrenaline wears off, if she remembers anything at all. Please be kind to yourself. SIL wants to be included at every event/everywhere with us. My husband's second cousin and him grew up together. They went everywhere together before our marriage. After getting married, I felt a bit weird cause she wants to go everywhere with us. Wants to be friends with our friends. I felt very overwhelmed as I wanted my privacy with my friends and hubby and not always walk on eggshells when she's around. So we talked to her and told her, you need to make your own friends and we need to have our own lives. She threw adult tantrums, made her husband to call my husband to say to include her everywhere. Complained about it to all our family members. Anyways, so after that she stopped a bit. I also invite her every 2 weeks to come by and have dinner with us. So recently, I graduated and threw a party for my friends, just wanted to celebrate the moments with my friends, and didn't invite any family. I invited my SIL 2 days before the party for dinner again. She wasn't invited in the grad party as well. The next week we ran into each other in a random common friend's birthday party, and she didn't even want to talk to me, going the extra mile to ignore me in front of everyone even after attempting to speak to her. One time we could speak, she asked me, I saw on FB that you threw a grad party. I said yes I did. That's it. Dead silence after that. Was I wrong to not invite her in my grad party? I don't know, what did I do to make her so upset with me? Stop feeding her crazy. If you want to invite her because you think you'll enjoy her company, go for it. If you only invite her out of obligation, cut that out. Her behavior is not normal. It's definitely not just you. I wanted to have a normal relationship with her, but she wants to have it all or nothing. It just makes everything so difficult for me. Honestly, she appears to be a controlling personality. Exhausting for sure. You are NTA for your personal preferences and boundaries. And why refer to her as SIL? She is a second cousin, have to go back to great-grandparents to find common ancestry. NTA. You are allowed to have friends separate from family. By the way, if she ignored you, you got what you wanted. You wanted some time to enjoy your friends without her breathing down your neck, and now she is doing just that. It may not be how you wanted to accomplish this, but you did it. And, let's face it, the way she was acting, you probably were never going to get her away from you without some kind of hard break like this. I remember a rather uncomfortable aspect of growing up when, in my early 20s, I learned that sometimes my friends do things without me. It was uncomfortable, at least for a while. Then I got over it, and enjoyed other things with them, at other times. It sounds like SIL hasn't figured this out. Stick to your guns. Involve her for the things you want her at, and go about the rest of your time without second-guessing yourself. She'll figure it out, or she won't, but it's not your problem. Something's fishy with their relationship. For her to have such a obsession with her cousin? Sounds like she has a personality disorder or she's madly in love. You might want to ask your husband this serious question, whether or not they used to fool around when they were younger. I fear that honestly, 'cause they lived together for a while with another friend apart from the families. NTA, stop inviting her over every 2 weeks. Tell your husband and her that if you wanted a child in your life to throw tantrums, then you'd have your own. She wants to join in with someone's friends, tell her to join her own husband's friends. Of course, there is the benefit of not having to change nappies, toilet train, pay for school and so on, so maybe keeping to Big Sook around to throw the occasional tantrum can make up for the missing Billy lids, smiley face. Still seems to think she's the main character of you and husband's lives. Straight up tell her, no, she isn't, and repeat the same to her husband. Why can't she glom onto him and his friends? You know, folks in her social circle. She needs to find her own life and realize yours isn't ever going to revolve around her. My sister-in-law once accused me of treating my best friend more like family than her. Well, you know, you are just the random person my brother married. My best friend has been my best friend from birth, so yes, we are family. It doesn't help that I couldn't stand her. She has also successfully managed to tear our entire family apart. The light from your phone in a dark theater is distracting. A few years ago, my family and I went to a planetarium. We were all looking forward to the presentation about the universe on the IMAX screen that made up the walls and ceiling. As soon as the lights went down, the woman sitting right in front of me took out her phone and started recording the presentation. The light from her phone lit up the entire area. I asked her to put her phone away, and she did. About 10 minutes later, she pulled it out again and started recording. I told her it was very distracting and asked her to put it away. She told me to shut up. I said, "Oh. Okay. Gotcha." So I stood up and spoke to the employee at the back of the room. He paused the presentation, raised the lights, walked to the front of the room, and politely asked everyone to put their cell phones away. There was only one person with their phone out. When I walked back to my seat, I thanked the woman. She left and took her row of kids with her. That people can't just enjoy the experience that they're paying for is dumbfounding. A phone vid of a planetarium presentation has to be one of the worst wastes of electrons I've ever heard of. Went to the movies. Dude would not put his phone away. Taking selfies when the movie started, taking selfies with the screen in the background. I started throwing popcorn at him until he left. His phone light made a good target. Enjoyed the rest of the movie. When cleanup crew came in, I told the woman about that guy and then handed her cash and said, "This is for the extra mess I made. I am sorry to be an inconvenience to you." She laughed and said she would have done the same thing. I insisted she take the extra cash, but I didn't want to be the asshole. Maybe seeing the presentation wasn't her reason for being there, maybe it was to film/record it. I have friends who went to a street market and found a very cheap copy of a newly released movie. It was such a deal, they couldn't pass it up. They were happy, that is, until they saw it. It was an illegally recorded version, in which the bootleggers set up a camera inside the movie theater and recorded the entire movie. There were other patrons coming and going, blocking the view of the camera, people talking during the showing. It was one of the worst possible reproductions ever made, and they never bought another one of those again. Though it wouldn't have helped in this situation, I wish they made theaters into Faraday cages so that people don't get cell phone reception. They can have a Wi-Fi router in the theater that gets turned off once the presentation begins. Whilst I agree, she would still be able to record in a Faraday cage. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.